I currently serve as an editor for the Lair monthly newsletter. In this newsletter, we include information about our activities, all of our projects, all of our speaking engagements. I do have to come over and look at our reports after each monthly newsletter is released. So you can see back here in February, the eagles.nccu.edu is clearly a student account. We don't have much engagement there. We only have 3 students. So we did start to sort of pivot our opportunities, which are found at the very end of our newsletter, towards students. Inside of our social impressions, you can see that we do have quite a bit of engagement on Facebook, but almost 0 on Instagram. So we did have to pivot next month. When we got to March, we had increased from 3 students to 6 students because we had taken the time to sort of look at our opportunities and pivot them more towards students. And in our summary report, you can see that we did have more engagement on Instagram. Facebook stayed relatively the same. Lastly, when we get to April, this is our most recent newsletter that was released. We do see pretty good engagement. We see pretty good clicks. We just wanted to make sure that we were taking into account the students who were looking at this newsletter and what they may want to see. We are able to use the analytics that are provided by MailChimp to sort of gauge whether or not we are reaching the audience that we want to reach. This is my economics project. In this particular project, what we're looking for is the demand of copper. We want to know if the price of copper at this particular moment is significant. So what we did was we ran a linear regression model inside of Excel. To begin, we started off by looking at our error terms, which is essentially any other competitive element. Copper, metal, or plastic are all sort of relatively in the same as usually a normal good. So it does actually turn out to be 0. It doesn't necessarily play into our equation. We made a descriptive statistics, a correlation analysis, and a linear regression model. The end result was to find the elasticity, which was negative 0.05. This essentially means that it is a normal good, so it can be affected by the income of a consumer. And it also means that we can take our price and go up and down with it to see if we can increase demand. Next, what we did was, we had a regression table, and we're specifically looking at the p-value. So you're going to want your p-value to be under 0.5. This means that the price is significant. As you can see here, the real price of copper and the real price of aluminum are not significant. So you can also see here that our adjusted R-squared right now is at 0.96 and our standard error is 347. We did run this again by taking out the price of copper just to see if it did have any impact. So now that we've dropped the price of copper, we're going to look at our standard error. So it did go up just a tiny bit, and our adjusted R stayed relatively the same. So taking the price of copper out entirely of our equation did not do much for us. So what we tried to do is make sure that aluminum was still insignificant and has improved, but we want to use a different set of price to control the simultaneous bias. So we did end up using an entirely different new set of prices just to see if our standard error would improve, to see if our adjusted R would improve, and to see if the significant p-value would improve. We were able to determine that copper has a negative elasticity. We were also able to determine that it was a normal good, and we could see that its current price point was insignificant. We corrected for simultaneous bias, and we were now able to get a significant price for copper. Semester, my team at North Carolina Central wanted to research critical race theory, and this is our finished paper that we have submitted for publication. We were looking at critical race theories and its role in misinformation, as well as connections to information systems. For my portion of this paper, I was researching critical race theory and its connection to information systems. After doing a little bit of background, I wanted to add a little bit of coding to our page, so I did a simple topic modeling piece in R. Our end result was this word cloud, but I can show you exactly what I did. I came into RStudio and I uploaded 42 abstracts that we used and referenced in our paper. And I wanted to find the most frequent words used. I downloaded a few packages. You can see TM, Snowball, Word Cloud, Topic Model, and I created a document term matrix, and our end result was this image that you see over here. Every time you run it, Obviously, it does change because it's kind of training. So our last one that we ended up using is this one here. And we did, in fact, end up using the top, I believe, 6 largest words in the word cloud as a part of our keywords list. My project, an analysis of the 2020 presidential election tweets using authorship attribution. The main goal of this project was to determine the writing style of a particular tweet and then attribute authorship to it.
NLP has already been used to look at large pieces of text. So J.K. Rowling was not actually coined the author of A Cuckoo's Calling. NLP was used to identify her as the author. So NLP is already currently being used to look at text. We just wanted to apply it to Twitter. So this was our result. We wanted to have something that we could actually look at to positively say this tweet came from this account, so we had a confusion matrix. When you're looking at a confusion matrix, you're looking for a true positive, and that's going to be shown in the dark blue at the diagonal. You're trying to get as close to a 1 as you possibly can, so we did have to run, we're training, like we're doing a training model, so you have to run it consistently over and over and over again so that it gets better at recognizing someone's like writing style. So we did get pretty close, we got to a 0.78.
Lastly, I wanted to show a small personal project that I did. I just wanted to look at the tractor sales from 2019 to 2020 at John Deere. So I went to the fact books and I downloaded tractor and combined industry unit sales. I put that into Sheets so I could look at it a little bit better. Then I put it into Tableau over here. And lastly, I just kind of wanted a little bit of visualization, and I only wanted to look at really 2019, 2020. I added 2018 as well, just to kind of give myself a little bit more of a visual.